Steven Universe and all associated images are property of Cartoon Network, Rebecca Sugar, and any and all other respective owners. I don't know them all. All footage in this video has been used for the purpose of critique parody under fair use. Please support the official release. This week, surprise, surprise, we're going to be talking about the Wanted special again. I know, none of you saw it coming. I blew all your minds. Can't even not laugh at my own joke. It's so ridiculous. Yeah, we're talking about the Wanted special again. Specifically, we're talking about the shattering of Pink Diamond in the context of what few new details about Pink Diamond's shattering were revealed in the episode The Trial. I talked about this a little bit in my video about Rhodonite that went up a few weeks ago, but today, rather than simply discussing how I think we might finally discover exactly what happened, I'm going to try to determine what did happen. You guys should know by now that I don't think that anyone but Rose shattered Pink Diamond. I've been hesitant to say more than that since the Wanted special aired, because I knew that this video was coming up, but I have also mentioned here and there that I don't think that Rose did this alone. But the Wanted special didn't cause me to start thinking this way. I made an entire video about how it would have been possible for Rose, or any other crystal gem for that matter, to actually get close enough to Pink Diamond to do anything. The idea that Rose was able to just easily waltz up to Pink Diamond and shatter her isn't an idea that I ever subscribed to. And it honestly genuinely surprises me that some people are only now asking that question. And I'm going to extrapolate upon that a little bit in the first section of this video, where I go over and debunk some of the most popular evidence circulating around right now that people are using to suggest that Rose didn't shatter Pink Diamond and in fact couldn't have shattered Pink Diamond. One is an older piece of evidence that Wanted simply rekindled, and one is derived from the trial, from that large stream of consciousness directed at the diamonds by Blue Zircon leading up to the climactic scene of the episode. The first piece of evidence is, of course, the age-old argument that Bismuth designed Rose's sword so that it was incapable of shattering gems. And that is very simply false. If we take the entire quote, what Bismuth specifically said was that she designed this sword for a fair fight. It can cut through a gem's physical form in an instant, destroying the body but never the gem. But that is not a definitive statement that the sword is incapable of destroying a gem. All that this is saying is that by making the sword so sharp and so precise that it can cut through a gem's physical form in an instant, i.e. it only needs one strike to do the poofing, that it prevents Rose from having to attack multiple times and risk the gem. Bismuth works exclusively with hammered metal. That means that, like all of the rest of her weapons, Rose's sword is just a hammered wedge of metal sharpened to an edge. Even if Bismuth made the sword out of material so soft that if it hit a gem, the sword would break before the gem did, or the edge of the sword would warp and it wouldn't actually cut anything, you could still use the flat of the blade to shatter a gem, or the hilt of the sword to shatter a gem. And keep in mind that it was never specifically said that Rose used the sword to actually kill Pink Diamond, just that it was used in the killing of Pink Diamond. She very well could have used the sword to poof Pink Diamond and then shattered her with something else. Or, surprise, surprise, she could have used a different sword. We already know for a fact that the crystal gems were using other swords before Rose's sword was made. It was shown very definitively in the answer. I would like to know exactly what Bismuth meant by this. Is the sword somehow made of metal that is just slightly softer than a gem's gemstone? Or is my assessment correct, and the sword can shatter a gemstone, but is so precise that it probably won't? Unfortunately, it's very unlikely that we're going to get an answer to this anytime soon. We have no indication when Bismuth might be returning to the show, and frankly, Bismuth tends to speak in less than definitive statements anyway, so whether we will learn anything more about the sword when she does return is completely up in the air. But at the end of the day, this statement does not disprove the narrative that Rose shattered Pink Diamond. So what about Zircon's testimony to the diamonds? Well, let's look again at what Blue Zircon said. Let's see, she said, "I get it, there's a reason they want you to explain how you did it, because it doesn't make sense." Goes on to point out that Rose's attachment to the humans was a weakness, a flaw, specifically, as she calls it, and then goes on to ask, Rose had everything to gain by shattering Pink Diamond, but even though she may have wanted to shatter Pink Diamond, could she? She asks Blue Diamond to examine her palanquin, and when Blue Diamond agrees and allows her to examine her palanquin, Zircon goes on to describe that Pink Diamond would have had to have exited her palanquin for Rose to attack her, and then goes on to say, the question that no one seems to be asking is how? Not, was this actually rose quartz, but how? How did Rose Quartz do this? Her entire argument hinges on this question. How did Rose Quartz get Pink Diamond to exit her palanquin and make herself vulnerable? She establishes that Rose could not have killed Pink Diamond without getting her to exit her palanquin, and then asserts that they do not have proof that Rose could have gotten her to do that, and therefore must drop the case against Rose on lack of evidence. Not because Rose specifically didn't do it. She never contested the eyewitness statements. She simply asked the question, how? how did Rose do this? If you can't answer this, you have to let my client go. And this is, and I mean this with all due respect, the mistake that a lot of the fandom is making here. Zircon did not contest the narrative that Rose did it. She was attempting to get quote-unquote Rose let off on a technicality. The question has never been who shattered Pink Diamond. The question is, and always has been, how did Rose shatter Pink Diamond? And this is supported by Garnet's conversation with Steven at the end of the episode Bubbled. I actually just talked about this recently in a Q&A video that I recorded in between recording sections of this video, so I'm just going to take a clip from that and drop it in here because I'm lazy. I'm also 100% convinced that whatever the situation, even if Rose doesn't end up being the one who actually did it, she intended to. Because the way that Garnet spoke about her motives, she wasn't just guessing at them, she was stating them as fact, which means she spoke to Rose and she heard these motives from Rose herself. There's no other way to look at it. Either she heard these motives from Rose herself, or Garnet, who promised never to lie to Steven again, and so far has not broken that promise, lied to Steven by not making it clear to him that she was only guessing at his mother's motivations. I really don't see any indication that this narrative, this show's narrative, is leading to a different reveal as to who killed Pink Diamond. I think that something is going to come of the reveal of how Rose was able to shatter Pink Diamond, but that's it. I think that's the mystery of this season. Rebekah Sugar mentioned that this season would be something of a murder mystery. I think that mystery is going to be who was the accomplice in that murder, not who was the murderer themselves. Which brings us to the question, who do I think was Rose's accomplice? And I think the two most likely possibilities are Pink Diamond's own Pearl and Yellow Diamond. When we first met Yellow Diamond's Pearl, she was answering a Diamond comlink on behalf of her Diamond. While I'm not sure it's as true for, say, Blue Diamond's Pearl, this does suggest that at least some of the Diamonds, some of the time, allow their Pearls to speak for them. This means that it is technically possible that Pink Diamond's Pearl could have, while pretending to act under Pink Diamond's authority, cleared a path for Rose to get to Pink Diamond. And if she pretended to come to Pink Diamond with a request from one of the other Diamonds, or something of equal importance, it is possible that Pink Diamond's Pearl could have gotten Pink Diamond to exit her palanquin. Assuming that Pink Diamond's Pearl didn't get caught after the fact, she could have then gone on to end up wherever it is that she is now. We know something had to have happened to her because of the way that Blue Diamond's Pearl and Yellow Diamond's Pearl reacted to the mention of her, and I think that whatever happened to her could have very well happened as an indirect result of what she did here, if she did it. But I think Yellow Diamond would have had an even easier time of this. We know that at the time of the war, the Diamonds had communicators meant to connect them with each other directly. Direct Diamond lines. Let's say that Yellow Diamond, who at this point would have also been involved with the war for Earth in some way, even if it was mostly indirectly at this point, received intelligence that Rose intended to make an attempt on Pink Diamond's life. Knowing that Rose was destined to fail, she used one of the direct Diamond lines to contact Pink Diamond and send her a message along the lines of, "Hey Pink, I need to talk to you in private, but it has to be right now, so I'm coming down. Why don't you send the gems in your entourage far enough away that they can see you, but not hear what we're talking about, and step outside of your palanquin so I can talk to you." Voila, now all that Rose has to do is approach in such a way that her approach is unexpected, so as to avoid the future vision of Pink Diamond Sapphire, something that we know is possible because Garnet has mentioned evading future vision before, and Rose has a clear path to Pink Diamond. Yes, either one of these scenarios does suggest that either Pink Diamond's Pearl or Yellow Diamond knew exactly when Rose was planning to attack, or knew that Rose was watching and waiting for a chance to attack. And it begs the question, was either of them working directly with Rose, or did they decide to do this on their own? And it begs the question, why would either of them do this? But the absence of Pink Diamond's Pearl does suggest that there's something up with her, so I think it's likely that she was involved. And Yellow Diamond is very anxious to get this whole Rose Quartz and Pink Diamond thing behind her, and to get Blue Diamond to move past it as well, so I think it's very likely that she was somehow involved. I kind of have an idea why Pink Diamond's Pearl, who would have seen Rose's crystal gems and been exposed to the types of lives that they were allowed to live, might want to shatter Pink Diamond to try to free herself, and then she just never managed to escape. I also have quite the interesting idea for why Yellow Diamond would have wanted to have Pink Diamond shattered, but that's got enough going on with it that I definitely think it's worth its own video, so you're just gonna have to wait for next week to find out about that. Sorry. So there you go, there are my thoughts so far regarding this subject in the form of a video that I really should have split in half, but I simply don't have the foresight for that. But as per usual, I'd like to know, what do you guys think of anything that I talked about in this video? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below. Either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.